Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here and welcome to the GBA Season 8. This is not my first video, but I guess technically my first video for the season, though I did make an announcement video earlier. But this is a video I'll be breaking down my draft for Season 8 of the GBA. The Bronx Beartics are finally here. Let's just get right into it. So, my approach to this was different than how I did it for the UCL. I think UCL, when it first started, I wanted to use Pokemon that... when it first started, I just definitely wanted to use Manaphy, right? Like, Manaphy was the only Pokemon I guarantee wanted. The rest, I think, just went well with it. But after that, in second season, I focused more on having more of a defensive backbone. And I think in this season, what I focused on was really just getting Pokemon I want to use. And that's pretty much it. Like, have a little bit of synergy, but have Pokemon I want to use. When it comes to draft leagues, I think it's really important to have a poison type and a ground type, because you want to have that. You want to block that volt switch, have an electric type immunity, and also you want to be able to absorb toxic spikes. Like before, when I had like Reuniclus and Tangrowth and a bunch of regenerator mons, Magic Guard mons, I didn't worry too much about hazards. Whereas now I knew I would be drafting differently, so it would be just a completely different type of team. But the first Pokemon that we have for my first pick of the GBA is Zygarde. Now, Zygarde is my tier 1 pick. I really want to use Zygarde ever since the MBL. I mean, ever since using it in Pokemon in general. The fact that Zygarde now, 1,000 arrows is so good. You know, no resistances to it, pretty much, like no immunities to it rather, excuse me, because it knocks down everything. And I really love Zygarde for its amazing bulk. I think its ability to sweep and great setup moves in Coil, Dragon Dance, and really just be able to spam 1,000 arrows. Like I said, it's a great Pokemon, having access to Glare as well. Even Toxic or Dragon Dance protects sub. Cool things like Pain Split, can abuse weakness policy, has priority and extreme speed. So I think it would be a really solid Pokemon, and I don't think there's any drawback in getting Zygarde. So that's why I wanted it as my first pick. I had a few Pokemon that were there besides Zygarde that I may or may not have won. I didn't get sniped at all in this, by the way. I did not get sniped at all throughout the entirety of the GBA. I got everything I wanted, which some might be like, oh, well, your draft's pretty crap. I don't really care. I got everything that I wanted to use, and I'm really excited about that. But the other two Pokemon that I was thinking about for my first pick would either be Tapu Koko, because I thought it'd be pretty cool to use Tapu Koko in draft format, or Blacephalon, because in a tier where, you know, Blacephalon is like 3 answers to it guaranteed, right? There's Tyranitar and Mega Tyranitar, I guess. Alolan Muck, and I guess to an extent Spit up Toxapex. Besides that, I mean, you can have like fat Pokemon in sand like Rhyperior, or Regirock can eat hits and things like that. Or just dark types in general, like Guzzlord and stuff like that. But like Blacephalon, I thought would be really cool. But I decided on Zygarde again just for its setup ability and the fact that Dragon Ground is amazing stab, though I don't know how many times I actually be using Drag. It's not my Dragon type attack. It's not my Z-Mon, so I won't be using like Dragonium Z Outrage or anything like that. But another thing, you can't have it be father. But a lot of picks I have just because of stuff that I actually did on the channel. I don't know, you guys might not have noticed, or you may not notice, but there was at one point where I knew exactly what I was drafting. So I did like showdown lives that had Pokemon that I knew I wanted, right? Or I knew I would hope to get. So if you go back a little bit, you'll see a live, like there's a Mega Gyarados, there's like a Whimsicott live, there's a Zygarde live. I even used the Necrozma at points like that. Like you'll see lives like that as you go back a little bit. So I was trying kind of to hint towards what I wanted, you know, a little Easter egg or whatever. But yeah, Zygarde's my first pick. Love this mod, really excited. I can't use Father, unfortunately, because I have to use Aura Break. I mean, Power Construct is broken anyway, so they wouldn't want to give me the Zygarde complete after that. But the next Pokemon I wanted was Stakataka, and I wanted Stakataka simply because of its name. I love its name, and also the ability to set a Trick Room. I thought that'd be pretty cool, especially if I fight slower builds or even just more faster paced offensive teams. I thought Stakataka would be pretty cool. Gives me a Stealth Rocker. Also takes on Ice type attacks aimed at Zygarde. Also resists the Dragon type attacks aimed at Zygarde. So they, you know, they work well, synergetic wise or synergy wise. But yeah, Stealth Rock, you guys know what it does. Gyro Ball, Earthquake, Stone Edge, can have Rock Blast, has cool text like, you know, Magico, I guess. Pretty I don't want to say it's a one-dimensional Pokemon, but you guys know exactly what it does do, but it's really good at what it does. Again, unfortunately, it's not my Z Pokemon, so I don't have like a Z Concept of Crush or anything strong like that, or Tectonic Rage, or anything super strong like that to abuse all out pummeling, but I thought it'd be a pretty cool mon because also it limits Trick Room on other builds. That was another reason why I wanted it, and it's simply because it's new. I really wanted to use Pokemon that were new, that I have not used much before. For the most part anyway. There's some Pokemon that come back from even all the way from season 1 of the Bronx Beartics, as you guys will see. But Stakataka, thought it'd be sick. I love its name. You guys know I love Stakataka's name. There's only one more name that I love more than Stakataka, and we'll get into that in a second. But great bulk. Obviously 4 times weak to ground and fighting, but a bunch of resistances at that. And I feel like having 2 Pokemon that are 4 times weak, that might be stupid, you know, 4 times weak to ice, 4 times weak to ground and fighting, but that also really pressures hidden power from opponents. For example, in the case, I'll give you, let's say my opponent has a Jolteon, right? And let's say just for draft purposes, I have Swampert, I have Flygon. Jolteon cannot run hidden power grass and hidden power ice at the same time, right? Jolteon cannot run hidden power grass and hidden power ice at the same time. So yes, Jolteon can check one of those, but it can't really check the other. And that's simply also what I'm going for when it comes to double weaknesses. I'll have certain things to help mitigate those weaknesses, but I'm not super worried about being super weak to Earthquake, especially because I have one of the best ground spammers in the game, which is Zygarde. Obviously, you know, other Pokemon would be like Garchomp, Leonard, which did get drafted, but you know, I have Zygarde, so yeah, I love Stakataka. I did say though, there's one Pokemon whose name I love saying more than Stakataka, and that is Necrozma. I had to draft this Pokemon. I had to draft this Pokemon. Legitimately because of its name. If I had Stakataka, I said I need Necrozma. I need this Pokemon. I can't wait. I can't wait to say its name during the GBA. But also, it has an amazing move pool this generation. Not only does it also have access to Trick Room and Thunder Wave, so great speed control in those 2 moves, but also Calm Mind, Swords Dance, Atomize, Rock Polish, same thing. But it has a great move pool, Earth Power, you know, Dragon Pulse, Heat Wave. It has Knockoff now. Also had Photon Geyser, which is great. Can work on a Swords Dance set or a Calm Mind set. So I thought it'd be really cool to use, and I did not want to face it as well. I thought it'd be really, really, really annoying to prep for. So because you don't know what it can do, and also, you know, it has Stored Power, Subcom Mind, good recovery, Moonlight, and Morning Sun, and just such a great move pool. And I think with this Pokemon, great bulk, right? Decent special defense, but great defense, or good defense, decent HP, and, you know, high attack and special attack. So I thought as a mixed attacker it'd be pretty solid, and, you know, what a decent speed tier. Obviously not the fastest, but fast enough to outspeed bulkier Pokemon, and also slow enough to outspeed stronger Pokemon and get up Trick Room. So, as well as the fact that it's Prison Armor, I thought it'd be pretty cool to use my Z-Mons. So Necrozma is actually one of my 2 Z-Mons. They had Z points in the GBA. They had Z points in the GBA. So, what they told us was, if you pick a tier 1, which I think costs, what is it, 60 or 80 points, then you can only pick a tier 5, which is like 20 points, or something like that. I might be a little bit off, I don't remember. But yeah, Necrozma I thought would be really cool to use, just because great ability in Prism Armor, you know, weakens them super effective moves and whatnot. But also decent bulk, and just a lot of, I want to compare it to Clefable because it can do a lot of things, right? Whereas though, it can Calm Mind, it can Swords Dance, it can Thunder Wave. Obviously not to the extent of Mew, right? Mew gets every single TM, HM out there. But Necrozma, really cool. Gives me a Psychic type as well. So another fighting type answer for my, you know, the fighting type weakness that I gained from Stakataka. And it was just such a sick mon. And I needed to draft it for that reason. Again, a lot of the reason is because I really wanted to use it. I've never used it in draft. I don't play a lot of draft to begin with, so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to use this. And I've been no beans like the best draft player. There's a lot of people that are way better than me, right? Just because they're just so much into the draft. But I love draft, and specifically on Wi-Fi, which is why I joined the GBA. And you know, finally, right? This season. But pure Psychic type, cool Pokemon, hits hard, and unpredictable, as in, maybe you think I'll be Swords Dance, but I decided to go Calm Mind, or, you know, a Rock Polish set, or anything like that. But next up, we have Whimsicott. Now, Whimsicott helps me, again, gives me a Dragon immunity, right? Also helps, gives me a resistance to Ground type, which my team lacked at the moment. Gives me Prankster, gives me Defog, which is another big thing. Gives me hazard control in a sense, and I like Tailwind as well. I think Tailwind is pretty cool, especially when you have Pokemon like Zygarde and Necrozma, who are not the fastest, but they're not slow. But at +2, you know, they outspeed tons of things, right? So it gives me that Tailwind Control, Encore, Leech Seed. You guys know what Whimsicott does. Can even give me Memento for setup for maybe like a Trick Room, Stakataka, or a Dragonite Zygarde sweep or anything like that. Also a pretty fast mon, and a Dark Resist, which I currently did not have. So as well as a Grass Resist. So this is why I really want a Whimsicott. I thought it'd be pretty cool. It's also Lady Kubu's favorite Pokemon, so I thought, you know, I've named Pokemon after her, but why not use her favorite Pokemon? It happened to fit really well with the Pokemon that I had thus far, so I really liked Whimsicott. And also, again, having that Prancer Defog, like, you can't use Defog when your opponent has a Dark type on the field, but I'm a Fairy type with access to Moonblast, so try and switching your Dark type on me when I'm using Defog, please. For the most part, I'll outspeed every single Dark type there is. Outside of, you know, Greninja and things like that. Torrent Greninja is allowed, Chimp Pack does have it. But for the most part, I'll speed most Dark types. And I do threaten the frailer ones with Moonblast and whatnot. So, also access to U-turn, which is pretty cool. Can either be a fast U-turn or a slow U-turn if I run a bulkier set. And just priority moves I thought would be pretty sick on this Pokemon. So, really wanted to use Whimsicott. Gave me that grass type and gave me a fairy type, which I was looking for. I don't typically have fairies, so I thought that'd be pretty cool because I didn't want my Draco Meteor answer to be Stakataka, where my opponent could use like a mixed set, maybe like Earthquake, Draco, and then deal with Stakataka from there. It might be able to take Earthquake from certain Pokemon, but gives me that Dragon immunity, which I wanted. So next up, I picked my Mega. And now my Mega was Gyarados. I picked Gyarados because in this season of GBA, you actually do not have to Mega Evolve right away, which means while I do have to hold a Mega Stone throughout the entire battle, I can use a regular Gyarados to set up. And I wanted regular Gyarados because it gives me another ground immunity. Obviously, it's weak to rocks, but it gives me a ground immunity. Another 4 times weak mon as well. Like Whimsicott is also 4 times weak to poison. Gyarados 4 times weak to electric. So there's a little trend going on with that. I probably didn't pick the best Pokemon, but I thought Gyarados would be really cool. I know Envy had a lot of success with this Pokemon. Dragonite setup. Decent move pool as well. Mega Gyarados is really cool, especially with Mold Breaker. I think that's better for them fatter teams. Mold Breaker breaking through Unaware and things like that. Access to Taunt. And gave me, again, that ground immunity for Stakataka prior to Mega Evolving. So that was something I wanted. Like, my next 3 picks focused on ground resistances, like ground immunities. But hits really hard. Can be a stall breaker depending on the set. And also helps me out, gives me that water resistance that I already have with Whimsicott. Gives me an even better water resistance, I feel. Just because Mega Gyarados has 130 special defense and 109 defense. So it will take hits. And paired really well with Whimsicott Gyarados. They pair really, really well together. So just giving me that setup mon. And something I haven't used, right? I love Gyarados. Gyarados is one of those mons that I don't use too often, but when I do use it, it does exceptionally well for me. I'm thinking of games in World Cup, Small World Cup, or even my X and Y road to top 10. Gyarados carried me to the top. So a Pokemon that I've been using for a long, long time, and every single time I've used it, it's carried me, whether it be Mega or regular. So while I don't show it love that often, it does work for me. So that's why I love Gyarados, and why I wanted to draft it. Next up, I wanted Heracross. I wanted a fighting type. Another ground resistance, but a strong fighting type at that. Also, a bug type would be pretty cool. You know, I'm really trying to get into my different types here. I want to be able to cover everything. But a strong fighting type, base 125 attack, access to close combat, Mega Horn, knockoff, Earthquake. I also wanted to abuse Guts this generation, since, you know, Burn is half damage now, right? It did 12%, now it did 6%. So Heracross can abuse that really well, giving me a status absorber at that, because it is a Guts type mon. And also having like one other great ability, Moxie and Guts. Moxie can be used as a sweeper, Scarf can be, Guts can be used also as a breaker. Swarm isn't bad, but like whoever uses Swarm Heracross when you have these 2 great abilities, right? So it gives me a good Choice Scarf abuser, a good setup mon as well. And just a wall breaker, again, for those fatter teams. Heracross just puts in a lot of work versus those. Another Pokemon I have not used very, very much, I think Gator had it. I also think Adrive had it, and I don't think they ever did anything for that. But I think in this generation, this is like the generation where Heracross just really excels, or just Guts fighting types in general, just because of the burn nerf. So really excited to use this Pokemon. Decent bulk as well. Good physical defense. Oh, I mean special defense, excuse me. Not good physical defense. I'm thinking of Pinsir, but Mega Pinsir rather. But yeah, another 4-time weak to flying. So I have a lot of 4 times weeks. But Man, the people who play draft all the time probably think, oh man, your draft is crap. I'm like, that's fine. I want to use what I want to use, and Heracross just sounded like a cool amount to use, especially abusing Tailwind from Whimsicott, or just having that strong fighting type. I did not have a fighting type at all, and I wanted something fast and strong. Like Conqueror was another option and things like that, but Conqueror is tiered all the way up, and Heracross isn't tiered. Heracross isn't tiered that high, so like Heracross is only tier 3, which is why I really wanted him, and just a super strong Pokemon. Mega Horn, close combat. This Pokemon just hits hard. You guys know this Pokemon hits hard. And like being able to see what my opponent's bringing, especially if they have fatter teams. Oh man, I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait to bring Heracross. Should be a lot of fun. But next up we have the mascot, Whitney's Miltank right here. We got our girl Whitney. I already know I'm naming Whitney. We got Whitney's Miltank. So at the point in time, I only had one Stealth Rocker, which is Stakataka. So I definitely want a second Stealth Rocker, which Miltank does provide. Also provides Heal Bell support, so a Cleric for the team. Also has access to Thunder Wave, Toxic, and a big thing, it also provides me with a Grass immunity at certain points if I use Sap Sipper. And at the same time, it can provide me with maybe a sweeper that can hit all types with normal type attacks because of Scrappy, and also an ice resist and a fire resist if I use Thick Fat. So I thought Whimsicott, I thought Miltank, would be a jack of all trades. Has good speed as well. Access to set up like Curse, and again, just I've always loved Miltank, right? Like I love Whitney because Whitney's Miltank beat me down back when I first played through Gen 2. I was super young back then, man. I was really young. But a good move pool because it is normal type and has abilities to abuse it. And also, it's pretty fast. Base 100, you don't expect the cow to be fast. And again, it uses rollout all the time, so maybe you do expect it to be really fast, just rolling out through your opponent. But wanted that. Give me a Grass immunity. Pairs well. As Thick Fat helps Pokemon like Heracross, for example, also helps Zygarde, so it pairs really well with Zygarde in that regard. And with Whimsicott as well, like these three pair super well. Fighting resist, Ghost immunity, and because I already have a Dark resistance, right? I have multiple Dark resistances, and now I have a Ghost immunity, which is something else. Like I think Ghost typing is really scary because unless you have a Dark type, you don't deal with it well, right? I have Gyarados, but I mean, the Ghost types like Gengar, right? They can just run Thunderbolt or something like that. Whereas Miltank, if I run Spadef, I can take Focus Blast. I can take attacks like that. So, I wanted that Ghost immunity, and I just wanted the cow. I really did. I think it's about time that I use this Pokemon in draft format. And just giving me a second Stealth Rocker, having reliable recovery and Milk Drink, which is such a cool move. It just drinks milk. That's so cool. Man, my draft analysis is amazing. And I have very spammable Stab and Body Slam, or even stronger Return, or even Double Edge if I wanted to. That'd be sick to use. Again, it's not my second Zmon, because I can only use a tier 5 Zmon. And Miltank is tier 4. So unfortunately, I would make it my Z if I could. But I really wanted Necrozma as Z. I was also thinking about Stakataka as Z as well. But I think Necrozma is just so good as a Zmon. But yeah. Miltank provides that Ghost immunity for the team. Also, I was very paranoid if somebody drafted Blacephalon because besides Gyarados, I didn't really have an answer for it because Shadow Ball and Fire Blast would hit everything. So Miltank is a great answer. Immune to Shadow Ball, and Spadef Thick Fat takes on Blacephalon's Fire type attack. So that'd be pretty cool. Also helping me out versus Zardex with Fizz Def. With Thick Fat, whatnot, I can curse alongside it. I can Thunder Wave, Toxic, things like that. Fire types in general. So I like that, and just paired well with what I had. So next up, speaking of fire types, Salazzle. Now I do want to give a shout out to Aberforth, and I'm actually going to be nicknaming my Salazzle after him. Even though it's only female, I'll be nicknaming Salazzle after Aberforth because he gave me the idea of getting Salazzle. I told him what I wanted, what I was going to get, and a fast fire type as well as poison type. Like I was looking at poison types. The poison types I were looking at were Garbodor, Salazzle, probably a Alolan Muck, though I don't think I could even get it at that point. But I was definitely looking for a poison type, right? It would be Garbodor if I don't get a Spiker later on. Because again, I think poison type is really necessary. You don't want to get messed up by Toxic Spikes. Toxic Spikes are annoying, man. Really annoying to fight. But also having a fire type is pretty cool because Pokemon like Ferrothorn, for example, while I can deal with them and for the most part can set up on them, I would love to just have this fast Mon that can knock it out with Flamethrower, Also resist its moves coming out. And on top of that, having good stab. Like Poison Fire is really good stab. Heat Ran obviously can take it on, but you know, only one person has Heat Ran in the GBA. His name is Gator. And even then I can mitigate that weakness with HP Ground or something like that. Also want to try out its ability in draft format because I think Corrosion is a really cool ability. Being able to poison literally any Pokemon. So Steel types and Poison types. So I thought that would be pretty cool in draft. I think its ability is amazing, and I hope in the future it's more widespread. But it gives me decent speed as well next to Whimsicott. A little bit faster than Whimsicott. Just a little bit, but yeah, good speed, good special attack, has access to Nasty Plot, has some cool things like Encore as well, knockoff, decent support moves, Taunt, Toxic, and again, it's a new Pokemon from the generation. Obviously, you know, it's been out since Sun and Moon, and we're in Ultra Sun and Moon, but a lot of things that I wanted to... Why the hell is this thing jolly? A lot of things that I wanted to focus on were, again, using new Pokemon, using cool Pokemon, Pokemon that I haven't used before, and apparently also keeping going with this 4 times weakness, because this is another 4 times weakness to ground. This is the second 4 times weakness to ground on my team. Or it gets better, because I have another one after that. But giving me that Fire type. Doesn't really have any bulk at all, right? But it's an offensive Pokemon. If this had been my Zmon, oh man, it'd be a nuke. Because in RU, this thing is just a nuke, man. With Nasty Plot, Acid Downpour, and then, you know, Inferno Overdrive. But Fire, Poison, and then Hidden Power coverage. Pretty much all you need with this Pokemon. So, that'd be really cool to use. Very fun. And also gives me that Poison type that does absorb the T-Spikes, which was the big thing. But next up, we have another Pokemon returning since Season 1 of the UCL. We have Aim, the Rhydon. I actually named it after me because aiming for the horn, that's why Rhydon lost. But I wanted Rhydon. I wanted another ground immunity that isn't 4 times weak to Ice. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, right, if they have Jolteon, I have Zygarde plus Rhydon. You either have HP Ice or HP Grass. First off, both of my Pokemon are living both of those hits, okay? Rhydon definitely living this because of Violite. I mean, Rhydon's pretty much set on a Violite. You can use like Life Orb or Choice Band for a more offensive one. I was debating between Rhyperior and Rhydon. I ended up going with Rhydon just because, you know, I've been using it so long. Gives me reliable Stealth Rocker, Setup Sweeper and Swords Dance. Just gives me a tank. It's been really reliable as a tank. And I think last season of the UCL, I didn't use it as much because I had Mega Aggron, but obviously this time I do not have Mega Aggron. So, and in UCL Season 1, this was low-key one of the MVPs. Because it stopped me from getting sweep so much. It gives me a Zard X answer, which is a big thing on that. That I'm definitely scared of. A Pokemon that can also take hits from Landers. You know, base 120 defense. Even base 45 special defense with 105 HP and, you know, 1.5 times that with Violet, right? Put the Violet on. It's decently bulky. It can be a special tank as well. For weaker special attackers, like, again, I keep going to Jolteon, right? I keep naming Jolteon because that's the one I think about. Because I think about the battle versus Shady, where I brought Rhydon. But unfortunately, it doesn't have the solid rock of its evolution in Rhyperior. That would be so good. That would be so good. This mod would be so bulky with a Violet, man. I would absolutely love that. But yeah, great attack stat, can function as a dual dance user, and also paired well with Gyarados being a ground immunity. An electric immunity. So that's why I paired really well with Gyarados. And you know, you guys know what Rhydon does. I've been using it enough at this point. I just always thought it was a solid Pokemon, and also it was my tier 5. Like, I thought in tier 5 it was way too good to pass up. GBA has, you know, different types of tiering than, you know, Smogon. So, and even the UCL, because UCL we went by Smogon as well. Just because it was easier. We didn't have to do any breakdowns or any voting or anything like that. But tier 5, I thought it was a steal. And I got Salazzle, so I figured I wouldn't be getting Garbodor from tier 5. So I wanted Rhydon, giving me another rock and ground type, and just a good Pokemon. So next up, another Pokemon from Season 1 of the UCL. We have Esu Ninja, the Accelgor. And Accelgor is pretty cool this generation because now it has Toxic Spikes. Now, I talked about during Salazzle that it was either between Salazzle or Garbodor as a poison type, and if I didn't get Garbodor, I would go for another Spiker. Luckily, I was pretty much guaranteed Accelgor at this point because I knew nobody else wanted it. And the way the draft was going, I was really close. Like, my picks were really close to each other. I got Accelgor coming back up, and then going back down, I got my last Pokemon. So, I thought Accelgor was really cool. Fast Spiker, has access to Encore, Final Gambit, and now it has Toxic Spikes. So, I thought that'd be pretty sick. Also has Baton Pass, which is not banned. You just can't pass speed. But yeah, it has Toxic Spikes now, so that's super cool. And I wanted to be able to use that, especially because I have some fatter Pokemon that can abuse it. Sub-Dragon and Zygarde, Sub-Leech Seed Whimsicott, Sub-Dragon and Gyarados, right? Like, Toxic Spikes are just so good. This is why I think a Poison type is necessary. Even the Poison type doesn't even stop Toxic Spikes because you just send the T-Spikes on the Poison type, right? But Accelgor is really good. Decent special attack as well, and it has a good move pool at that, right? Focus Blast, Bug Buzz, Energy Ball, Giga Drain. You can run hidden powers of sorts, Sludge Bomb even for fairy types. So, as a pretty cool moveset, and also, I think, like, I really loved using this Pokemon as just a hazard setter. You guys know how much I love hazards, man. Especially offense. Like, my build this time is a lot more offensive than my other builds ever. Obviously, I don't have like Pokemon like Kieran Black, you know, Beat Down, or even Manaphy. Unfortunately, Manaphy got picked up. Like I talked about before, it was between Zygarde, Tapu Koko, Blacephalon, but if I didn't get any of those, because draft order was randomized, I would 100% go for Manaphy, the captain of the Bronx Beartics. Unfortunately, captain is not with me in this season, but it is with me in my heart. But Accelgor, great spiker, great anti-lead, can even be good, function well as a special attacker. So my last Pokemon, and I wanted to round out, I think I have, am I missing any types? I don't think I'm missing any types. We have Dragon Ground, Rock Steel, Psychic, Grass Fairy, Dark Water, Fighting Bug, Normal. I'm missing Ghost. Yeah, I'm missing Ghost. I just realized I'm missing Ghost. I might be missing something else, but yeah, we have pretty much all the types except for Ghost, I think. Do I have anything else I'm missing? I have Bug too. Like I don't ever get a Bug type really. But yeah, Electric type. So talking tomorrow. Now, probably not the best Vine draft at all, but this Pokemon got some new toys in Ultra Sun and Moon. Ironhead is one of them, so it actually has Stab it can abuse. I think it also got like Super Fang right now, which is, I think it got that in Ultra Sun and Moon, so that's pretty cool. It has some fun stuff like Fake Out, Spiky Shield, U-Turn, Nuzzle, Zing Zap, its own stab move. 3 great abilities, Iron Barbs, Lightning Rod, and Sturdy. One of them gives me Electric Immunity, other one you take damage, another one survives hits. So I want to try out Togedemaru. I thought it'd be pretty fun. Flying Resist as well. I mean, I had a few of those, but it's hard to explain this pick. It's more so I just wanted to try it out, man. I really did just want to use it. It's also my second Zmon besides Necrozma. Now, I don't know how many times I actually be Zing my Togedemaru besides my Necrozma. And I don't even know how many times this thing will actually see the field. But I needed to get my boy Chris. I'm not talking about the Mr. Moet Chris. I'm talking about GG Chris Cross. My boy Togedemaru. I had a lot of fun using this in that team that I built with Scoot on WeBM in the ladder. Hopefully coming back. Like, that's really hard to coordinate just because, you know, work and stuff he has to do. But this Pokemon would be so good if it had spikes. Like, why did they not give this thing spikes? It literally has spikes on its back. Like, why did they not give it spikes? But or a Rapid Spin even. But really cool support mon, I thought, and maybe a fun Z-mon. We'll see. We'll see. But a Poison Immunity, which I already had because I had a Steel type, and you know I have a Poison type as well. But I just thought Togedemaru would be so fun to use. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can't defend this thing besides that. I thought it'd be really fun to use. A lot of my Pokemon, I thought they'd be really fun to use, so I wanted to use them, right? So, Togedemaru is my final pick of the GBA. I love my draft. I really love my draft, man. It just looks so cool. It's so offensively based. Obviously, I got like some bulky mons, but you know, this Togedemaru pair wearable Gyarados as well. Nice Garavire, but it's Gyaradomaru instead of Garavire. But as a Z-Mon, I don't know how well it will function, but it's the only one I could Z. Besides, you know, Rhydon, right? And I'm running a Violet on Rhydon for the most part, so I'm not going to Z Rhydon. That's my tier 5, besides Togedemaru. And I want an Electric type, which could be pretty cool for some bulky waters. It's faster than most bulky waters, if not all bulky waters. So, decent speed tier. It outspeeds Drapion. That Pokemon comes to mind. Yeah, outspeeds your Drapion Gator. But yeah, I'm really excited for this season of the GBA, guys. I really am. I think week 1 goes up the 14th. I think that's when we have to get our battles up by. So week 1 goes up the 14th. And then week 2 is after that, I believe. But I hope you guys are also excited for the Bronx Beartics in the in the GBA. Man, I love my draft. It's gonna be so much fun. It's been a while since I had to play. It's just, I don't know, it's like bulky offense. I guess I use it all the time. But like I said, I hope you guys are all excited. And yeah, of course, feel free to check out the GBA Twitter and stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Super excited, man. I really am. I don't think I have anything else to say. That's pretty much it. As for nicknames, I pretty much picked them on most of my Pokemon, if not all of them. But you guys shall see when the battles come out. But goodbye, my friends.